All right, here we are on the third form of the equation for a linear equation, and it's slope-intercept form, and this is the one that folks tend to be most familiar with. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is your y-intercept. And this one is going to be the best or easiest form if you know the slope and you know the y-intercept. So in a way, it's really a very specific type of point slope form, with the point being that y-intercept. So if we had that the slope was 7, if we had a slope of 7, and knew that the y-intercept was at 0, -4, we could write the equation line quite easily just plugging these in. So y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept, or slope equals or y equals mx plus b. And our slope again is 7, so we'd plug that in for m, and our y-intercept is -4. We'd plug that in for b, and we'd end up with y equals 7 times x minus 4. That would be the slope-intercept form of this line. Now, pretty straightforward stuff, and that's again usually the one people are most familiar with. A few reminders about slope while we're here. The slope of parallel lines, parallel lines have the same slope. So the symbol for parallel, we got parallel lines, same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. The other ones are going to be perpendicular, and perpendicular lines, write this down here, perpendicular, there's a symbol for perpendicular, are negative reciprocals or opposite reciprocals. You'll see the algebraic form of it. So the slope of the first one times the slope of the second will give us -1. For example, if the slope of one was -3, then the slope of the perpendicular line would be positive 1/3, because if you thought of 3 as a fraction, that's 3 over 1. So the reciprocal, those get switched. The numerator becomes the denominator becomes the numerator, and it's the opposite, or negative reciprocal. All right, so let's take a look at those just graphically real quick here. So we've got a line, and we'll change this to slope-intercept form. Um, same line we've been using for the last couple of videos here, with the slope of -2/3, or -2 over 3, and the computer changed it here to a decimal form, so -0.67. That's a close approximation of -2/3. Now we're going to make a parallel line first. So that line, and going to have it go through this point C over here. So let's make it a little bit larger. That would be purple. All right, so here we have parallel lines. I'm going to grab B over here, and I'm going to start dragging it around, and notice that the two lines, as one moves, so does the other, and that they'll never touch each other. Well, until we move them all the way up here, and now they're actually the same line. But as they're parallel and two separate, different parallel lines, and they'll never intersect with one another. The slopes are, let's change this over here to slope-intercept form also, and the slopes will always be the same. They'll just have a different y-intercept. So again, same slopes, different y-intercept. Even when the slope is undefined, straight up and down, they're both undefined. So undefined slopes are parallel. And if I moved it all the way to 0, and then we'll drag C down here a little bit, they each have a 0 slope. They're still parallel, and they just have different y-intercepts. So parallel lines, there we go. There's your kind of picture of them. Now we also have perpendicular lines. So let's delete this parallel one, and this time we'll make a perpendicular line. Now perpendicular lines always are that negative reciprocal, or the opposite reciprocal, however you want to define that. Here we go, it's red, a little bit bigger. All right, and they meet at a 90-degree angle. Notice the slope of this blue one is -2. It's falling 2, so negative and running 1, -2. and the slope of the second, let's change that to slope-intercept form also, is going to be the negative reciprocal of that. It's rising 1, running 2, where the first one was falling 2, running 1. This one's rising 1, running 2. And as we move this one around, notice how it constantly has a 90, they're meeting at a 90-degree angle. Whatever the 1 is doing, if the blue line is 1/3, now the red line is -3, -3 over 1. The two slopes we need to be careful with is that a slope of 0 is perpendicular to an undefined slope. So the blue line right now has a slope of 0 and the red one is undefined. Those are perpendicular. Also perpendicular, if the blue is undefined, then the red one has a slope of 0. All right, hope that helps.